Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have a fun video for you about colonial currency, and we're going to look at some really old paper. And before we do that, I'd like to remind you that you can, of course, if you enjoy the content we produce here, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, all that stuff. But also now, you can even join us in memberships, and if you want to know more about that, there is a link in the show notes that you can click on. And without further ado, let's look at some really old money and have some fun with this. And I'm gonna get all the way down to the nitty gritty on these notes, and also we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you what I paid for them and where I got them and all that good stuff. So for those of you who are familiar with the great state of New Jersey and its seal, you'll know right away that this is New Jersey because it's got the seal on it. Of course, this note has that hole burned through it, which looks like almost like fire burned through it, but it could have been an ink spot. Somebody could have left an ink quill pen resting against it, and that eventually will burn through it. That is something that happens. This note is technically uncirculated. It has extremely crisp original surfaces to it, almost like cardboard. It's so stiff, and really a cool note. They used leaves as a part of the engraving to make counterfeiting more difficult. They had a lot of little counterfeiting techniques built into these guys. And so pretty cool note. We're going to take a close look. One of the things that's really cool about this is check out the watermark. In the watermark, you can see it says New Jersey. You know, these are from the 1700s, and the watermarks actually date back to the late 1600s. They were used first, I think, in some of the Scandinavian countries, but I could be wrong about that. Let's look at just how delicate the printing is on some of these guys here. You know, this is all engraved, hand engraved, and really quite nicely done. You'll notice right away that these, the serial number is handwritten on these notes, and also these notes are hand signed, and we'll get to the signatures a little bit later. Also, one of the features on these New Jersey notes is that they had multiple colors, which was a security feature, having the red. The red was something that not everybody was able to do or did. Also, if you just look at the printing here where it also says Jersey, and then it says 1 shill in the background, and then 1 shilling on the foreground, it's really kind of an advanced engraving technique to try to make it harder to counterfeit. And speaking of counterfeiting, they really didn't like it. So a lot of these notes had "'Tis death to counterfeit" on it, and I think that is one of my favorite things about colonial currency. Now, when you say colonial currency, sometimes you refer to, in the broad sense, all the different things from the colonies. Sometimes we'll hear the term continental currency, which is a very specific type of note, which was printed by the Continental Congress. This note, Burlington in New Jersey, printed by Isaac Collins, 1776. The printer got to write his name on the notes. Everyone knew who was making the banknotes. This bill of 1 shilling, proclamation is emitted by a law of the colony of New Jersey, passed in the 14th year of the reign of His Majesty King George III, dated March 25th, 1776. Now, some of you already know this. Nowadays, if you want to leave New Jersey, they actually tax you to leave. So, God save the Queen, huh? All right, so I never miss a chance, really, to plug a book when I can, if I can get a good book. And The Early Paper Money of America by Eric P. Newman is the book that you're going to want to get if you like this type of material. This is a fantastic book, and I'm going to get over here to the pages on New Jersey. So this book is set up in a alphabetical by state, and then for each state, then it's set up with sections that are chronological. So here's the March 25th, 1776 page, and you'll see it has some pictures. These are black and white, but once again, these higher denomination bills, the 3 pound and 6 pound, this whole area, the crest was all in red, and really they're very beautiful notes. This area here shows you the different notes that were issued and how many of each note was issued. We're not used to the S and Ds, but the S is shillings, the D is pence, and of course the L is pounds. And one of the coolest things about these is looking to see who signed them, right? So right here, it's going to tell us that signers were Jonathan Deere, John Hart, asterisk, Jonathan Johnston, not to be confused with Patrick Warburton's character Johnny Johnson from News Radio, different guy. Joseph Smith, Robert Smith, John Smith, John Stevens Jr. A lot of different, not a lot of different names, all the Johns. And the asterisk here indicates that that the values increase a lot because John Hart was a signer of the Declaration of Independence, and bills with his signature on them are quite valuable. So then you can look here in the book, and then you can look and see, you know, here's you got Johnny Johnston, and then you've got who else is there? The Jonathan Deere, and what does that last one look like there? Yes, probably John Stevens Jr. is J. Stevens Jr. Jr. I think that's who that is on that one. So really cool. Oh, by the way, here, wait, we got a second note, and I'm going to show you exactly what I paid for these notes and where I got them from in just a minute. We're making up new words today. But this 2 shilling and 6 pence note, so it's a fractional, you know, weird denomination. The province of North Carolina is indebted to the possessor here of 2 shillings and 6 pence proclamation money to be paid out of the public treasury according to the Act of the Assembly passed December 1771 and then there's a bunch of signatures there. This note also has some watermarks. You can see those lines that work almost like a circular stripes coming down. Those are all watermarks. This is very different from the New Jersey note in that it is uniface. A lot of the North Carolina notes are uniface. This is among my favorite series because they all have these really cool little symbols and emblems and stuff down in the corner. This little house engraved here is really cool looking. This note, similar to the other note, is really in high grade. I think it's a technical CU note. It does not have any folds or wear to it. It does have a little bit weaker printing up here in the corner, which can affect the value a little bit. Maybe value, maybe saleability. But also we can look into our Eric P. Newman book and go to the North Carolina section and see exactly what I'm talking about with these notes and how this December 1771 Act had these really cool vignettes on them. And, you know, you've got your signatures on there, but also you can see the different denominations, the production rate, which is in those brackets, and then the actual denominations. And the 3 pound is one of the most popular notes ever produced because it has the Magna Carta on it. And that's an extremely, Magna Charta. That's an extremely popular note. And really cool stuff, all in all. So these notes I actually picked up in a public auction. You can see here that I picked them up at from the Lynn Knight currency auction. Lynn Knight's a guy who he's been doing currency forever, and I peruse his auctions and look for stuff from time to time. You'll see here that, you know, I paid 180 bucks each, but then you got a 20% buyer's premium shipping fees. So I'm into these notes for about $220 each, and I think for the most part they're decent buys because I still think I can get, you know, $260, $275 each out of the notes as I put them in my display case because they're nice. They're good pieces of history. They're nice grade. You know, overall, the good eye appeal, and I think they're solid. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I've been the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.